Let me show you a picture of a guy. If you can put it up on the screen, this is a picture of Kane. How would you like to have an elder that looked like that? This guy's from Waianae. Kane spent 26 years in jail. He spent 11 years in juvenile detention prison or whatever that's called. And as an adult, he spent 15 years in prison. But while he was in prison, Jesus saved him. And today, Kane is a leader in his church. There's a church called Ohana Church, a church that I'm closely connected with. If you want to Google Ohana Church in Hilo, you can check it out. Kane is an elder at that church right now. In fact, next Sunday, if you want to check it out, Kane is going to preach at Ohana Church. But you know what? We can easily dismiss someone like Kane, right? He walks in, he's got tattoos all over his face, like, oh, bro, is he going to beat me up? He's going to take my money or what, right? Jesus saves him. And when Jesus saves him, I know it's easy for us to look at Kane and say, you know what? What's he up to? When is this imaginary life that he's putting up, when is it going to disappear? It's been many years since Jesus saved him. And for all of these years, I've known him for at least 11 or 12 years, Kane continues to grow in his relationship with God through Jesus Christ. Kane is leading his church in Hilo well. If you go to the next picture, 10 years, that's Kane. So Kane helped to start Ohana Church with the guy on your right, Zeke Tomaselli. These are two guys you look at and like, them pastoring? Absolutely. That's what God does. If you don't believe me, check out this next picture. That's their leadership team. This is what God does. But you know, when we talk about Kane, when I talked to Kane, and Kane said that the next time he's on Oahu, I had a great conversation with Kane this week. Kane said that when the next time he comes to Oahu, he's going to come and visit GracePoint Church. He's going to walk in. And you will have a chance to meet him. And you will have a chance to see the work of God in and through Kane. But you know, as we look at Kane, I wonder how many of us discount the possibility that God could work in someone else who may seem impossible to reach. You see, because here's what goes on, and let me just finish up with this thought. We'll be done. There's something within the human heart that cries out for God. There's something within the human heart that cries out for God. Even in our brokenness, even in our depravity, we cry out for God. Because we're made in the image of God. And because of sin will make us look in a direction to fill that void that's crying out for God with something other than God. And when we fill this void with something other than God, you will be taken in a direction that will cause you to waste your life. But when we surrender to Jesus, we fall into God's plan and we walk into salvation and redemption, and God does something amazing. If you talk to Kane right now, he would tell you that even in the middle of some of his greatest criminal activity, even in the midst of his greatest rejection of God, there was something that was stirring in his heart that said, this is not right. There was something that was stirring in his heart that said, you need Jesus. He put up that front. He continued to reject Jesus until Jesus saved him and his life has been radically changed. radically changed. What about you this morning? We've been talking through chapter 10 about the voice of Jesus constantly calling you. Are you rejecting that voice? Are you rejecting that? Are you rejecting that voice for salvation? Maybe this morning needs to be the morning where you surrender to Jesus. There are many Christians here right now, and that voice is about the direction that God has for you, or choices that you need to make, or maybe it's about your lifestyle. Right? Our lifestyle doesn't get us to heaven, Jesus does, but there's something about your lifestyle that's not connecting with the things that matter to God, and you're hearing the Holy Spirit drive you to Jesus, and Jesus is saying, I have better for you. But even as a Christian, right, when you die, you're going to spend eternity with God, but here on this earth, you're wasting your life. Will you surrender to Jesus today for whatever He has for you in your future?